Ladies and gentlemen, RosterWatch Nation, welcome back to the epic RosterWatch Podcast, brought to you by RosterWatch.com. My name is Alex Dunlap here, forced with the Trashman on what is always for me, probably the worst day of the year, just because I have to be here with Trashman. And also because, very, very sadly, I do get a cashier's check from my bank to send to the tax man. Trashman, oh gosh, it hurts. How are you doing, brother?
Well, pretty good, considering I didn't do that today.
So, happen to go to the dentist and get a root canal or a prostate exam or anything like that, bro?
No, nothing like that. Well, I mean, I don't know. Taxes suck. I always owe, so
it's never good. All right. Well, so look, man. So this is the Waiver Wire show. If you guys have any questions in the YouTube chat, make sure and put them in, especially whether players you might be dropping this week to pick up others. The waiver wire cheat sheets up at rosterwatch.com. And I must say, fitting for this kind of day, it's the worst waiver wire week I can remember. It's just, nothing, we had some injuries this last week and stuff, but it feels like those sort of, those have, more downstream effects than immediate waiver wire kinds of things where you can go out and snatch up one of these players that's going to take on any kind of immediate role. Harry Snowman, what's going on, brother? So good to see you in the chat. Again, if you guys have questions, you can let us know. But like I said, it's a pretty bare week this week. I have a list of guys here. I'm gonna ask Trashman if he can drop them. But Trashman, let's just go ahead and get through this. I think just the most important is Tank Dell. If you used our cheat sheets, you probably even drafted him. Hopefully your benches.
If you listen to me at all in the pre-draft process, or even during the season.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have him, but you saw in this last week, just exactly why. He's a guy that can go off for an absolute nuclear explosion. And man, if you heard, I saw this tweet today. You guys should watch. Just go on X or Twitter, whatever, and search for C.J. Stroud doing play-by-play of the final drive. And you can just hear in C.J. Stroud's voice how much he loves Tank Dell and the nasty routes he runs and everything like that. He just said, "Oh, with Tank, that the last touchdown on that deep post, Trashman, to the middle of the back of the end zone, that was." He said they hadn't practiced that play since like the first 3 days of training camp. But he said he went over to talk to Bob. He went over to talk to Bobby. I guess Bobby. What's his name? Bobby Slovic. What's his name? I should know that. Texans. OC Bobby Slovis. I always get it. Bobby Slovic. Slovic. You know those W's can sometimes sound like V's.
Slovic.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Just and Harry Snowman saying it too. The look on Stroud's face after the first TD. Stroud loves him. We all knew. I mean, Snowman was there with us at the draft. He saw this story at the same time that we did, where the report came out that Tank Dell had told reporters that Stroud had called him up and said, "Hey, man, we're going to pick you." It's like that thing's starting to come together, right? I know that there's been no Robert Woods, and that's been helpful, but at some point, man, at some point, it's I think people are just going to realize, and that team's going to realize. I'm not sure that Trashman. I know that you consider him their star alpha wide receiver. He certainly looked like it this last week. Noah Brown also looked real good. But man, Tank Dell's got some real star potential to him. He can totally be at some point like a T.Y. Hilton type of player. He's showed us that kind of upside already there in the AFC South.
I mean, I saw it at training camp.
Yep, and we saw it at Senior Bowl. We just weren't sure it was going to translate, right? So Tank Dell is the big deal. Go get him. But like we said, I mean, it's a thin week this week, guys. I mean, Tyjae Spears is still out there. We're interested in certainly going out there and kicking around, getting him on the roster just for the same reasons that we always talk about. It feels like we just come back and talk about it. Once again, as far as the snap percentages, Zach Charbonnet outsnapped Kenneth Walker in week 9 at Baltimore, but Kenneth Walker did out-touch him, also out-targeted him. But at some point, moving down here, it's probably going to be a situation where that'll continue to be a committee. And if they do take a hot hand approach, or if, God forbid, anything were to happen with Ken Walker, who, I mean, he's been kind of banged up. If anything were to happen with him, Charbonnet's value would, of course, go through the roof. But it feels like those are the kind of players that we're looking at right now, right? We're looking at guys like, Tajay Spears, Zach Charbonnet. Oh, I mean, and then Keaton Mitchell is the other one. Do you have anything special on Keaton Mitchell besides the fact that he just went absolutely ham on just what would be a volume that is just completely unsustainable, right? Because he was only in on 18% of snaps, but when they got him in there, and it wasn't all during the garbage time. It wasn't all once they took Lamar out and put in Tyler Huntley, right?
You saw, in the touchdown run, you see
Huntley?
the talent on the field. I mean, I feel like he's like a combination of Justice Hill and Gus Edwards. I think he's the best of both of their worlds. I feel like in Keaton Mitchell, that might be their answer, but we'll see.
But Keaton Mitchell's smaller. It's like it's hard to call him.
He didn't look that small out there. I don't know.
But you saw him. Let me just see. I've seen him in real life. He's small. What is he? Yeah, dude, he's 5'8.5", 179. He's smaller than A-Chain.
He runs with power.
Well, yeah. Do you think that he could have like a 1/2 of an A-Chain type of impact?
I think he could.
He's certainly more dynamic.
He's more dynamic.
In the chat, he doesn't feel like anything's going to change without Baltimore calls the running back position. It's a 3 to 4 man committee. I get that, but we did also think that about we also did think that about Miami whenever we were coming into the season, right? So it's Mitchell looks good. He was one of the top guys in Cody's dog ratings. Cody liked him a lot more than I did coming out, but he looks good, man. It's like that's a W for Cody if he continues to look like that. It looks like a good find for him out of East Carolina. And I'm looking at the mock draft pool right now. Like I forgot. Okay. Well, I forgot about his vertical. I knew he had the 4.37 40. I knew he had the hilarious 10-yard. Gosh, this 10-yard split, 1.48 seconds, so 98th percentile among wide receivers. The vertical was 38-inch vertical, so 86th percentile there. So it's like his spider graph is just all the way out on all these things. And you get to the little size ones, and it's just so small, right? But certainly a guy that's worth prospecting on, worth picking up. I wouldn't blow a ton of waiver budget on him. It would be a real question to me as to whether I would give up my first or my second waiver priority in round robin leagues or whatever you call those kinds of leagues. What are those? What are those leagues called? Just traditional listed waiver wire format leagues, I guess.
So.
Yeah.
I would rather have Keaton Mitchell than one of those Baltimore receivers.
Besides Zay Flowers.
No, even over Zay Flowers.
Why? No,
I've had Zay Flowers on my team all season, and his ceiling is low.
No, you would rather. I don't think he's That's a trash man take for your own teams. That's an irresponsible thing. We can't be telling people to drop Zay Flowers.
I'm not telling people to drop. You're putting words in my mouth. I never said drop Zay Flowers.
Well, you said I said
I like the upside of Keaton Mitchell over any of the
but the people are going to hear this. They said trash man would rather have Keaton Mitchell than Zay Flowers. So I need to go drop Zay Flowers for Keaton Mitchell because I want to play fantasy like trash man.
I don't think it would hurt him that much. Zay Flowers, look at his stats this whole season, man. Like there's nothing to write home about at all. I don't think it's an indictment on Zay Flowers.
But trash man, if you look at anything with the expected fantasy points, if you go to fantasypoints.com, they have the awesome new stat this year
with
the first read percentage, all that's. But look, man, it's like, what are you going to do? You're tilted in these weeks because the last 2 weeks, Gus Edwards has scored 3 and 2 touchdowns respectively.
I'm not talking about
Lamar Jackson. You don't think Lamar Jackson's going to come back? This is all cockamamie.
I'm talking about this whole season. Take a look at Zay Flowers' game log when you get a chance. I'm just saying he's deceptively kind of ineffective.
Dude, in my dynasty leagues that are PPR, I don't think about him in the same way. Maybe it's just because it's dynasty and I'm looking forward into the future. Has he been a complete smash? No. He's been in PPR. He's been a good wide receiver 3. He gets good volume. I know that Beckham and Bateman and all those guys are back now. Maybe now that they're all healthy again, that kind of adds some new dynamic. I did hate to see Devin Duvernay getting in for some action this last week, but dude, that's just what's going to happen. All right. Nino Pena asks, do you guys see Taysom Hill having a consistent role this year in the Saints offense, or could he see a fall off? Well, he's not going to rush for a touchdown, catch a touchdown, and throw for a touchdown every week, but yeah, so no, that's not going to, no, I mean, that's the very issue about Taysom Hill's role, right? It's not one that's consistent. It's going to be on a week to week basis. The good thing about it though, is in leagues where he's tight end eligible, half the tight ends that people are rostering every week are going to be, they're going to be week to week propositions as well. He brings a ton of upside. And the fact of the matter is he's one of, like, he's still an awesome player. He's still a really good player. Like, the Saints are better when he's on the field, sadly, but it's just kind of true. It hurts for Kamara. It certainly hurts for Kendre Miller, who's hurt now. Dude, it's like, now it's the time where Kendre's hurt again. It's like, you can pry him from my cold, dead hands in Dynasty and redraft. It's just like, man, if you got to get him out of here. I know you've been saying it for weeks, Trash Man, but I mean, at this point, what are you gonna say? Throwing the ball to Kamara 30 times a game, but Kendre gets in there for one game, pops off for 27 yards, and next thing you know, he's like, oh gosh, and you're just I'm trying to search on Twitter for the Kendre Miller so I can just go back and watch the run, and the first thing I see is that after the big run, Kendre Miller heads to the blue medical tent, and he's questionable to return. It's just, God. Yeah, man. It's I don't know. Harry Snowman saying the baseline. Kendre Miller's baseline is just injured. It feels true, man. It hurts. I
do feel like Taysom Hill has kind of usurped Jamal Williams for that second back role. It's just like Jamal Williams has been useless in fantasy.
Jamal Williams stinks, man. We're seeing with David Montgomery. Thank goodness he's coming back this week for a lot of my teams, but that role,
hopefully not teams with Jahmyr Gibbs on them.
That role up there in Detroit, like that role made Jamal Williams. Okay, so Keaton Mitchell. I mean, if you want him, go get him. I would not go completely nuts. Trash Man says go ahead and drop the Zay Flowers and give up the farm for this guy. Like, I can't abide by that. A bunch of other
and you're right, Harry Snowman. Yeah, Zay was 3 for 50. He caught 3 balls last time against Cleveland. Like,
well, Cleveland's a brutal matchup for opposing everybody, right? It's just tough. I mean, even Trash Me, even Clayton Tune can't get going against them. Okay. All right. Anything else at wide receiver? Anything else at, like, anybody you want to talk on specifically? I mean, Demario Douglas, I don't have his stats pulled up, but just from all the DFS stuff, I had him in cash. I think he had like 5 for 55 or something like that.
I mean, he's arguably the Patriots' number 1 receiver at this point. I mean, Juju had a decent game, but
he's throwing the ball way too much to Jalen Reagor. Dude, this guy just stinks. Just stinks. Can you believe, dude? I wrote this on Twitter. Can you believe how the Vikings just have these people pick idiotic picks right ahead of them and just the Eagles take Reagor, and then they get Justin Jefferson, and the Chargers take Quentin Johnston, and then they get Jordan Addison, and like all this, just unbelievable, man.
Speaking of Quentin Johnston, though, he's going to get opportunities this week.
All right. Well, so Quentin Johnston, he's on your list of guys you could possibly pick up. The guys
Josh Palmer being injured.
Yeah, I kind of like that you have Curtis Samuel on here. You know, whenever he gets back, his role was pretty awesome. And the fact of the matter is, it's not going to continue being this stuff where dirt balls like Diami Brown and Jamison Crowder are popping off once Curtis Samuel's back, right? I like that one.
I mean, I guess you could say Dontavian Wicks has some juice if Christian Watson misses time.
But Christian Watson, they're saying he's not going to miss time. Right. So because Christian Watson clear concussion protocol.
But that wasn't his only injury.
Yeah, but they said he had a back and a chest, and LaFleur said they're not worried about either of those things. They're monitoring him more for the concussion. Why do they keep monitoring these guys for concussions after they clear protocol? It's like this new stuff is so weird. Okay. As far as the tight ends, I can't believe Jonu's still available in so many leagues. From the garbage grab, a hit from the garbage grab, Hunter Henry last week. I think you had him in the grab. That was a pretty good call by the Trash Man, if I do say so. And And then, of course, Will Levis now he's been named the new starter for Tennessee. If you're in a spot like if you have Jalen Hurts or something like that, I might have to poke around some kind of, Josh Dobbs or something. And who knows, man, with Justin Jefferson coming back, he's going to have a complement of weapons there to, I mean, what he was able to do just as a runner last week would have been enough to just get you by. Not that anybody would have started him. I mean, he didn't come in. He only got to Minnesota.
Yeah, if somebody managed to play him in DFS.
Yeah, it would have been good, huh? Would have been.
I actually played DFS for the first time this season last week and won $100 in a $3 tournament.
You don't ever play a DFS, trash man.
I used to a little. I mean, I'm gonna start doing it again, just because I think I'm pretty good at it.
You play the stupidest plays,
huh?
You play the worst plays.
Hey, I won $100 this week.
Huh? Well, that's good. That's good, man. I can't believe you care about these little $3 DFS tournaments when you have to manage a $25,000 buy-in redraft league. Just unbelievable. Okay. Let's get to the can you drop them portion. If you guys have questions about who to drop, let us know in chat. Here we go, Trash Man. You got to answer these. You can't answer any of them wrong. All right. Pierre Strong. You
can drop him.
KJ Osborne. Oh man, and prayers up for him too, by the way. But he had the they were scared to death about that hit that he took, but he was able to walk to the cart and stuff. I think they say he's just got concussed.
Yeah,
he's gonna be out for a little while though. He's definitely getting a quarterback downgrade. Jefferson's coming back.
You can drop him.
Zeke. I still wouldn't drop him in 12-team leagues. He could anything happens to Ramondre. I mean, he feels like a handcuff now, but Alex K is asking, is it practical to start Nico Collins and Tank Dell on my dynasty team? My wide receivers are AJ Brown, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Dell, Elijah Moore, Shaheed Palmer, Moody Boyd, DJ Shark, Tillman, and Shakir. I mean, based on matchup, I think it would be. He would have been fine this last weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, Elijah Moore.
Can he be dropped?
Yeah.
I don't want to drop him yet.
Keontae Ingram.
I mean,
Connor's coming back. Yes.
Is Connor for sure coming back that's
been the plan all along. Get Connor and Kyler and let's get going. Right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Justice Hill.
No.
Michael Gallup.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston.
No. At least not this week.
Jeff Wilson Jr.
Oh, A-Chain's coming back in what week? He can come back after this week, right?
I forgot if it was week 10 or week 11. I think it might be week 10. He's eligible. Let me just look and see. That's a good question. Because if he is, I need to pull him into the ranking sheet because these guys that have been injured, these guys on IR, I need to come back. I pulled in. He wasn't one of the guys. I don't think he. Hold on.
I think I remember seeing something about week 10.
Hold on.
I mean, but they're on a bye, so you couldn't play him this week. But I think he is eligible to come off after this week.
It looks like he's the Mike McDaniel noted yesterday that he hasn't experienced any setbacks. They don't see a reason he won't be back from IR in week 11.
Yeah, you can drop Wilson though.
All right. Kendre Miller.
Outside of Dynasty, yes.
Here are the three hard ones. Christian Watson.
No.
Darren Waller on IR. Daniel Jones is out. We're looking.
I actually dropped Waller in one of my leagues because I had to.
Somebody's asking this. Gabe Davis.
No.